Take two. Alrighty. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel if you guys are seeing my face for the first time. Hi, my name is Maya and I document my life here on the internet, or as much as I choose to share with the internet. Shameless plug for a second because this is a YouTuber-y thing to do and I don't typically do it, but I need to start learning how to. I do have social media, Instagram and TikTok. I will leave those linked in the description box down below because I think I actually have a different username for each. The second that I get them all the same, I will leave it on the screen. B or 2 or whatever I started saying in the order list. Feel free to leave a like on this video to let me know that you guys like these videos. I am gonna start coming out with like some sit down videos as well. So I would like to figure out what you guys like, what you guys don't like. So feel free to chat it up in the comments or give me a like or dislike to let me know or something like that. Also, 3 or C, whatever I'm doing now, I guess I'm doing both. I do have a little community going here, so if you guys want to become a part of it, feel free to subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell so you can be notified every time I post new videos. I post every single Sunday, but with the addition of the sit down videos, there may be one little video here or there sneaking in occasionally on a week, so feel free to turn on your notifications so you can be the first to be notified of that. Now that the housekeeping things, YouTube-y, promoting things are out of the way, let's catch you guys up on what is happening today, okay? Because it's Monday, so we're actually starting the week on Monday. I mean, we started the week on Monday, every other vlog as well, but I'm actually surprised because I was this close to being like, yeah, I'm not gonna vlog today because I was working on some short form content. So like in the morning, I did my whole spend the morning with me featuring Notion because I do have opportunities at partnering with Notion for certain short form content. So some of my content could be categorized under that as well. There is no limit to how much I can submit for content for them, so I am going to continue to make content for them, and then it'll just be paid off as I am able to submit it to the brand and them to accept my work as well. So I'm not explaining that well, but basically I work with Kale, and Kale is its own app and it works with these brands. So at any size as a creator, you can get money for basically selling whatever it is that this brand wants to sell using influencers or content just in general from the public and not like billboards and commercials and things like that. Okay, so that's what that is. Anywho, all of that to say basically though, I've been spending the morning doing short form content and I was also just planning for the month in general. My planner actually has this space where it's like, okay, here are your goals for the start of the month and here's your reflection at the end of the month. So I did a reflection on the month of January, which was really nice. And then I basically outlined a calendar of content, not the short form content, because I'm basically just kind of creating a backlog of content for short form so that next month I can really just like basically kind of post every single day, or what would be equivalent to every other day or something like that, or just more often and in general and consistently, and give me time as well to be able to, whenever I decide to do a short form thing, to be able to do that and to not have the pressure of like doing that and sit down videos for my booktube channel and doing the weekly vlogging thing here on this channel, plus whatever sit down videos I decide to do here. You know, it's just a lot all at once. So I'm just kind of creating the backlog in real time, but backlog for the future for when I actually post it, if that makes any sense. I was doing that this morning. I did my devotions, I washed the dishes, and then took a little break for lunch. And then after lunch, I went to meet up with my mentor, and that was a really good session. We spent an hour and a half talking, and it was fantastic and much needed. And then after that, I did a few errands. So I had to go and pick up a Tupperware from my mom's house, and actually I figured out that it was being used, and I was like, that's okay, because like I didn't tell you that it was someone else's. I just got it from someone else and then I accidentally left it there. So how would she have known? So I'm actually going to be picking that up later, but I did go to the house to do that. I filled up my tank of gas, so now we're a full tank and I shouldn't have to refill for a week and a half, 2 weeks. I returned a library book, finally. Oh, and I filmed a booktube video, so that was awesome. Literally an hour of raw footage for a singular book that I read in January. We'll talk. Okay. And then what else did I do? Because I did something else. Oh yeah, I went to the bank to get some money to take back out because, so that was a whole thing. So on Saturday, I woke up and almost had a heart attack because I looked at our residency portal for our apartment and I saw what equated to our rent and I was like, what in the world? I was told we had enough to cover the vast majority of this month's rent. What is going on? I don't like that. And it wasn't allowing me to pay through the app. Keep that in mind. So it wasn't allowing me to pay through the app, right? And so immediately I woke up, okay? So it was 7, I was groggy, I was tired. Like I went to bed at I think like 2 a.m. So I'm running on 5 hours of sleep. I'm a little delirious and delusional, but I see that number and I'm just like, ooh, suddenly awake. You want something that works better than a caffeine boost? That'll do it. I was looking at that and I was like, oh, what in the name? Checked my cash envelopes for like all of the different categories that I was gonna take out of. And I had enough money. Then I was like, oh shoot, I'm not the only one that pays. So then I texted my roomie and so we were both just like, okay, well, we have it, but what in the world? Talk to the office. So we have to wait for 3 hours, or I have to wait rather, because, well, she does too, but she was actually out. So she had something to distract her. I was just here, just like, what are we doing here? So took a nice hot shower, and that only worked like a little percentage. Okay, so took the shower, worked a little percentage. Then I started editing my video. I started doing other things. I was trying to keep my hands busy, okay? My hands busy, my mind busy. Like I was trying to not panic too much, but I was still a little like, what is happening right now? And I really need the office to just open up. In fact, this was a little cray-cray of me. I walked down like at 9. So our office opens, it varies in hours, but normally like weekdays it's 9. On weekends it was 10. Well, I think Sundays they're closed, but Saturday, 10 a.m. And I knew this from like all of the days that I had been back and forth for like the tour, some questionings, the lease signings, all of the things, right? Getting the keys. I knew what time it opened, and even my roomie was just like, well, like it opens at 10. And I'm like, yeah, I know, okay. So, but I still went down there at 9 because I'm like, but what if, like, if they are even just like an hour early, I need the answer, because my thing was like last time, I think it was a weekend too, or there was a special circumstance, but basically I thought that my bank was going to take a little bit longer to process the payment because 1, it was bigger than any other payment that I normally make, okay? And 2, it was a different location. Like they think I'm living at my mom's house still. Why are you getting a thing for an apartment? Okay, so is there potential fraud? And my bank is so good about that. Like there was this one charge, I kid you not, that happened on my account, and it wasn't even like that big of a charge. But because that wasn't my normal pattern of behavior, they immediately clocked it. I got a text and I was like, yeah, that's not me. So the charge did not go through. Bless banks that know you. I thought that was gonna happen when we first paid rent. So I was worried about it happening again. Thankfully, our apartment gives us a 3-day grace pay period when like it's processing. So if I make the payment day of, but it's still processing, I get like a 3-day extra grace period, which is awesome. Love that. No late fees. We love. So I thought that was gonna happen again. And I'm like, I need to put this payment in like early, which is, I woke up at 7 to go into the resident portal because I was like, because of that reason alone. So I thought I was just gonna groggily, okay, make payment, okay, we're done. No, I had a heart attack. So I tried going there, wasn't open. Then I was twiddling my thumbs even more. Well, not really. I was editing again and like trying to keep my mind busy. My roommate got back. We both headed down to make the payment. The person at the office was going on a tour, so they basically said, just email us if there are any issues, like don't worry, we'll look into it as soon as we get back from this tour, which would probably take up to 30 minutes plus. Okay. You know, I'm not freaking out over here, it's fine. So we make a plan and I tell her, listen, okay, just in case, we both put in the amount on the rent, and whatever answer I get from them, we'll make the payments. If there's anything left over, I'll give it back. You know, it's gonna be all fine, but at least let's put it in the account that we're gonna use, which was mine, to be able to, whenever they give me the answer, I'll be able to pay. So the answer comes around. Turns out, the number that I was seeing on the screen was actually a credit. So we had rollover to cover the entire next month's rent, which was fantastic. I love that. Thank you. Amazing. Praise Jesus. So all of that for nothing. So I have all of that money in my bank now. Now, I was going to take all of it back out. However, Mama knows her baby, okay? Meaning Mama knows her car, okay? My car is going through it with some certain sounds, and there are just some certain sounds that you just know mean bigger payments. So what am I doing? I am only taking out a little bit to put back into my emergency fund, and everything else is staying in the bank because tomorrow morning I am going to go and make sure that my little baby is okay. The only reason that I didn't do it today was because I had a meeting at 1:30 p.m. and if they needed to keep my car overnight, I don't know if I have a ride to go back to my place, because I am usually the one that gives rides to people who don't have them. Okay, so that was the thought process there. So tomorrow my car is gonna have the whole just spa treatment day. We're gonna go and do the oil change because it needs to happen. We're going to check and make sure that there's no bigger issues. Then we're gonna go and pump up the air in the tires and see if they need to change the tires. If so, then we'll be there as well. Then we're gonna go to a car wash and we're gonna get the spa treatment for my baby, okay? That is what we are doing, and that is what is happening tomorrow. All that to say, I went to the bank to get out that monies, and then now I'm here and I'm back at my place, and I'm just gonna hang out, chill, probably just read the London Seance Society until later this evening. Later this evening I'm gonna go for a walk, and then I'm going to eat afterwards. I normally eat late anyway, so I'll cook later as well, just so that I'm not in the way, in case my roomie is gonna cook tonight using any sort of pots or pans or whatever. That is pretty much everything that happened. A lot happened, but I didn't want to like film every single part of it because it's like, let me just get this done. This is not conducive to filming. This is not conducive to vlogging. I'm just, okay? It was one of those days. Yesterday was a lot emotionally, and I was like working through a lot of things. And so today I was very much just like, yeah, I'll film things, yeah, I'll do things, but not at the same time. I did a little bit though, okay? I did a spend the morning with me featuring Notion, okay, for my Notion partner branding thingy deal, whatever. So I did that, and I'm potentially gonna film some more short form content. It's more so just like having it just to have it so that next month I can do a little bit more. I would like to post a little sprinkle here or there throughout the month of February, like on here for shorts, on TikTok and Insta reels and stuff, but for the most part, like, I am just creating the things to upload the things later. Any sort of promotionary thing as well, like being able to take a few more pictures for different videos and to be able to promote the videos and stuff like that. I think that would be pretty cool. Tomorrow I would like to do a little bit more in the way of short form as far as pictures are concerned for like video promotion, because I already have a picture for the Wednesday upload for my booktube channel. I know I said I wanted to do Tuesdays, Thursdays. We're not doing that. We're doing once a week on Wednesdays. I have confirmed. So I already have the picture for this Wednesday's video, but I don't have a picture for next Wednesday's video, and then I also need to film next Wednesday's video. So that's gonna be the big project. And then for the short form content as well, I would like to do like a few, I don't even know, like updating my reading journal. I have some K-pop cards that I would like to unveil and then sort and do that. Just some other fun things, like fun life things. Oh wow, it's getting dark. Anyway, the sun is starting to go down a little bit. Yay, that means I'm about to head out on my walk. I'm probably gonna go out while the sun is still setting because they do tend to turn the lights off in the park a little early. So we're gonna go and do that. And then I'll probably do a little bit of reading, and then I'll probably make dinner and do my editing thing. So let's go. guys. It's another day. Yes, it's another late intro to the day, although I've been taking you guys along for most of the day. So basically, I woke up and immediately went to go take my car to get fixed, or really to get a diagnosis, which I did. There was one thing that wasn't fixed that I'm gonna go back in for next week. It was a little bit of a chunkier price. I do believe I have the money, but the thing is, I don't feel comfortable with the funds that are gonna be left over. So I'm just like, let me just do it next week with the next paycheck and everything's gonna be all Gucci. So praise the Lord, we have the money to actually, you know, do that repair and just cash flow it and do it right away. Technically, I could wait for a month out or so. Even then, I don't even really have to do it, but I have a month until like the issue wears out my tires, and I'd rather not have the issue wear out my tires and continue to keep on wearing out my tires, because I don't want to keep on buying tires over and over. However, I do know I am going to have to buy a set of tires pretty soon at some point, just because that is what they said last time I got my air pressure checked, and we had to get it checked like 3 times within the span of 2.5 weeks. And at first we thought it was the weather, but then I kept coming back in and they were just like, there might be something that you should check within the tires. Plus also there was just a little bit of wear and tear on them, which is just natural because there's gonna be wear and tear after however long on your car. So that to me made sense. But I was just like, I feel like there is something that is going on, and I just, you know, I want it like listen, we know our cars, okay? We know our babies. They get us from point A to point B. We know when something's up. We know when we hear a sound. We're just like, I may not know what that is, but I know that that's a problem. Call it natural instinct or whatever. Okay, so I had that natural instinct. I was correct. Thankfully, this one, the biggest amount, didn't even reach 1,000. Thank you, Lord. Because I have had some high priced problems in the past. I am hoping to keep on my car a little bit more now. It is a part of my budget, but to be quite honest, like before moving out, my biggest goal was to save to move out, so I would stretch out the car repairs and things, which probably wasn't good for the car. So I had those big money purchases like once a year, maybe twice a year max. But that's still not good for the car. And they were like the bigger things, which, you know, was probably gonna happen anyway, but they probably happened sooner because I just kept stretching out how long I would address the issue. Much like my health. So I am not doing that to my car, and I'm not gonna do that to myself any longer. We started the day off at the car repair, and I spent hours, and I do mean hours. I woke up at 7, got there by like 7:40, and then had to wait for the diagnosis until 10 a.m. And it actually was a little bit before 10 a.m. It was like 9:30, 9:45 when we got the diagnosis, and they were like, okay, it may take up to like an hour, hour and a half to fix. And it didn't take that long. So I was there from like 7:45 to like 11 something, and it was a great grand old time. I did get my booktube video mostly done. Like I got halfway through. I filmed my February TBR, and I am participating in a readathon this month, yay. So hopefully we read more than the one book, but here are some highlights of that. I want to participate in Forensic February. If you don't know, this amazing creator is hosting a readathon based on like a true crime-esque murder type situation. And so me being that I like true crime and I like books and I like readathons, I'm like, yes, let's participate and just see if I can complete one readathon, period. Like, you could technically fill in the blank of like, of this year, of the last decade. You can do the entire board, which is a lot of books, or you can roll a die. So I decided to be kind to myself and roll a 6-sided die. This prompt was seen recommended. So basically, what have I seen that has been recommended? And I am stretching this. Oh wait, I'm sorry, did I say 6-sided die? I meant 8-sided die. Hello. Anyway, Anissa, Weir. Sorry if I'm butchering these names. And also, all of these books, by the way, they don't have to be read in order. I know that they go in order on the board, okay, but they don't have to be read in order. Me giving myself a pat on the back and kudos for saying that this is what I will read and not actually reading my physical TBR. And then I'm going to have this idea in my head, this intrusive thought of like, oh, I should read all 3 books by Sarah Penner in a reading vlog, and I'll try and start it, and then I won't actually start the project until 2032. If you guys want to be nosy, you can go over to that channel and check out the rest of the videos for yourself. I will leave them linked in the description box down below. Those videos will have already been uploaded, so I will also leave those linked in the description box down below, those specifically because I mentioned them here. So that took up most of the afternoon, and then I was just like straight chilling because I have not done that in so long. And then I was so tired. I thought I could ride it out. I thought I could ride out the midday slumpiness, but you guys, I woke up at 6 something and I fell asleep at like definitely like 1 to 2 a.m. because I always do that. So I fell asleep, woke up, turned on the camera and the tripod to update y'all. You guys, I slept at least over 2 hours. Somewhere between 2.5 to 3 hours, that's how long I slept. I needed that. I needed that immensely. So then I got up, had a little moment of like, oh wow, I slept a minute, but I also have a good portion of the evening. So what do? I get ready. I'm gonna head out for a walk. I don't know if my roomie is coming with me or not. If she is, I'm gonna extend the invitation, but if she is, then she could come along with me, and you guys probably won't see that footage because everything is exporting as we speak, the stuff that I have edited, because I had a power editing sesh and I got a lot done and I'm very happy. But all of that footage is getting exported, so the camera and device is warm and it is giving me that message. Also, I don't know how much storage I have anymore on my phone. I did delete a lot of it because I was editing and because I was exporting, but we don't know yet, so that's a fun time. Anyways, just to explain the non-videoing either, you know, if I video, I will have gone to the park alone. If I don't, it's probably because I'm going with my roomie. And then I'm gonna come back, obviously, and potentially maybe eat something or read until I feel hungry, and then cook something, a nice little meal, and then read and listen to YouTube until I fall asleep. Now, I also want to make mention of yesterday, there were some things that the short form content did not pick up. So I've already inserted the short form content of like what I did, because like I feel like I will have narrated that aspect. I just didn't give you guys the bookish stuff because I don't know why, because I'm like, oh, it has to be separate content on separate platforms. Yes, it is, but like I can share with you guys what's going on over there. But yesterday I was telling you guys about life and showing you life through like short form and whatever else I did on Monday. Well, I did more behind the scenes of the short form content, and I believe I talked to you guys a little bit about it, and I was saying like I was productive. I got some dishes cleaned, I did some meal prep, I did some unboxing more of further boxes because your girl has a lot of boxes, okay? I got a lot of junk I need to sort through, and I am slowly but surely like taking little separate bins out into the living room as we're hanging out in the evening. I'm sorting through that. It helps me get quicker with the sorting and everything, so that's always fun. Plus it's like the second that I actually move in here is like the second that I'm gonna be like, ooh, I'm gonna feel accomplished. I'm like, yeah, this is my place. This isn't something that I just rent and all of my stuff is everywhere just waiting to be put back into a boxes to be moved. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna shut up now. I'm gonna get some water and I am going to head out for a night walk. See you guys in a bit, or tomorrow. Yes, see ya. Hi guys, it's another day. I swear at some point we will get more like action footage where I don't just come on and be like, hey, this is all the stuff I did, and I'll come back to you tomorrow to do the exact same thing over and over again. Although, let me not speak too soon, because I can't take you guys into work with me, so that's a thing. But I just finished driving it through Ziggy's. This time around, we did not have the situation that happened last time. Insert story time here, because this video is not going to be as long as the other one, so we can actually do that. We just went through the Ziggy's drive-thru, or I did rather, and I got me a drink that I saw as I was seeing if I could order it on DoorDash yesterday. I didn't follow through with it, okay? I am financially responsible sometimes, okay? Bruh, on the way here, like, there was this interesting back way that I went through, like in a back way neighborhood to the Ziggy's, because I kept going in the wrong direction because the maps was just confusing me. Anywho, that's beside the point. So as I was coming out of one of the neighborhoods, the light was on, but like, you know, you give the right of way to the person who's gonna go straight. So everyone was going straight. So I was waiting for them, and then by the time the light turned yellow, I was like, I wasn't even starting, and Padfoot was kind of lagging a little bit. And so I was like, I'm just gonna wait. Well, there were a few cars behind me. This one car that was behind me must have had some sort of road rage, which is very interesting when you're just getting out of your neighborhood, you know? But he was like on a road rage type situation, because he honked at me to go on the yellow, which is like, I understand that, but also like it was about to turn red, and not even a second later it would have turned red, and I would have caused a crash situation, which I didn't want to do. So I stayed back. So we were in the only turn lane. The other lane was for the turn or to go straight. This guy goes around me in his rage, realizes that it's about to turn green, tries to get in front of me and cut me off, and then has the nerve to honk at me when I go, because it's okay for me to go, and all the peoples have finished walking across the street, and the other guy is about to turn from the other side in the exact same location. We were fine. No one was going to crash. This guy tries to go around me and is honking at me because I was taking my right of way. And he was so upset and angry that he just had to go around and try to cause a collision on a neighborhood street. Today was actually pretty chill, pretty low key. I woke up, I did my devotions, I did some editing, and then I spent the rest of the morning after that pretty much promoting the video. I had a little lunch break, I took a nap because I have needed to apparently catch up on sleep. You know, these eye bags need attention, so we are catching up on sleep this year. That's fantastic. And then I woke up and I started reading a little bit more. I am so excited. I started reading a little bit more of The London Seance Society by Sarah Penner, and it is getting good. I kind of wanted to start like a reading vlog of like my entire month of February's reading. Not happening. I also want to start reading as well simultaneously, because I want to see if I can do this again, reading multiple books at the same time and not getting confused or missing anything. We'll see. I don't know. I have squirrel brain, so I think I am less likely to be as on it as I was when I was a kid, but we're gonna try anyways. So alongside of The London Seance Society by Sarah Penner, I am going to be reading Slender Man by Kathleen Hale, and this is based off of all of the evidence and what we know of the actual true crime case, and these people are actually alive today. And I believe one of the girls that are mentioned in this book, because there were two of them, they attempted to take the life of another young girl. I believe one of them is up for the opportunity for parole, and then the other will follow shortly after in a few years. And this is the story of the Slender Man case. And what I find fascinating about this when I was creating the video and creating my TBR is the emphasis on talking about the mental health condition of one of the girls that attempted to take the life of another. And what I really, really hope is that we can have a good, productive conversation where, yes, we are getting all of the facts, but we are not allowing that to cloud justice for the person that was attempted to be killed, because that is not okay. And I don't think it's helpful to start having some sort of narrative, rhetoric, stigma, idea, justification, fill in the blank with one of those respective words or synonyms like them for things involving mental health, because then now we don't run the risk of starting to have that idea of people with the exact same condition, because it is not a common trait to be a murderer for each and every single individualized thing. Now, granted, there are things that you cannot control and some things that, cannot be treated, but that does not mean that anything involved in that type of condition or illness or other word that is appropriate, that could be better appropriate fitting here, that doesn't mean that that is a commonality, that is a common trait, and that we should be looking at other people with that condition like that. And so I hope, for everyone's sake, that the author of this book does not lean towards that narrative. I don't think she does. And I got this book recommended to me by a friend, actually, and even she was like, yeah, no, it doesn't point to that. And I'm like, okay, good, because quite frankly, it is good to keep that into account as well when you're dealing with cases obviously with justice and our justice system. It tends to lean towards a more case-by-case basis, kind of a subjective basis per case and per thing that happens and everything. And it's good to have all of the facts and all of the information to know how to treat everything moving forward, because you don't also want to run the risk of that happening in the prison as well. If someone's out here murdering people and you put them in a enclosed space with other people, you don't want that habit or that ideology to continue and risk hurting other people that are in there as well. So having the option of going to a place that can help you if there is some mental things going on, or if there is this other thing going on that truly in that element could not be helped. So getting treatment for that, trying to understand that, trying to better understand how that worked in this case, that should be a thing that is brought to light and brought to the table, just for a more sound reasoning behind whatever answer that we decide for justice to be served in that event. But also not to justify the thing that happened, right? Because a life was almost taken in this instance, and in other instances lives are taken. That is not to be treated lightly. That is not to be brushed over. And so I think as long as we have a good balanced conversation and remember what it is that we are looking at, and not just the certain elements and then clinging on to that and only seeing that side, I think I will like it if that is indeed the case here. Because when it comes to things like crime and all of these different elements about crime, and especially within the true crime community and space, I think there is a lot of good that is had from the discussion. I also think that there is a danger if certain things are taken too lightly, if things or a fetishizing of evil because of stories that we read just because it didn't happen to us personally, or we don't know about it personally, or we've never felt it personally. And by personally, I don't mean it happening to us, but even in our surrounding circles, I think there's more of a weight that happens when it enters your own backyard, so to speak, and you have more of an understanding, more of a knowledge, a more sympathetic view for the victims and their families, and more of a motivation to present said information in a caring instructive, empathetic, sympathetic manner, you know? And I think there's a lot of conversation that could be had just on like true crime elements in books in general, but also being that this is a conglomeration, merging of information of a case that has happened, that is real, and that is, you know, still involving people who are alive today. I think it is very important, very critical that that information is handled very carefully, as it all should, right? But that it should be very, very careful. So I am very interested to start that, as well as doing more of a fictional angle of a similar vein, because quite frankly, this is having to do with the deaths of murder victims, and oftentimes the people that are being called on to do these seances to speak with the dead do help in solving basically the true crime of that period. So I think this is good. I think it's good that I'm going to have like two similar type of books and content, but also completely different in genre and in weight. And I think this is going to be a really good time and a really good two books to start at the exact same time. So yeah, I'm going to actually head over to my church now, because it is an all-church prayer meeting tonight, so it starts at 6. So I'm going to start heading over there, and of course I'm going to be bringing in my coffee from Ziggy's. This is the frozen campfire, and I just love this so much. You guys, today for some reason I was able to get it for 50% off, so the entire beverage was only $3.59, as opposed to literally anywhere else I could have gone that I had rewards as well, like Starbucks, Dunkin', Dutch Bros. Bro, I still pay the full amount. So today being 50% off all of the coffee, heck yeah. And this isn't a sponsorship by Ziggy's, but Ziggy's, if you ever need someone to pay to help sponsor your stuff or whatever, or if you're looking to sponsor someone, would love to be sponsored by you because I love your products, genuinely. We're gonna head to my church parking lot so that I can start reading on Slender Man and come to you guys with my thoughts. We'll see if my friend did me right by this book. I'm sure she did. I trust her judgment on books. All right, heading out, getting up close and personal, but we're gonna be heading out. This time I did not forget where I put my keys, and if you know, you know. If you don't, by this point, I think it's like 2 vlogs ago, I am referencing, but yeah. All right, let's go. See you guys in a bit. That's the beginning of my short work week. Bless. Last night, I was talking with you guys a little bit about what I did throughout the day, and then that I was going to start reading a book that my friend recommended to me, Slender Man, and I did indeed start reading it. And whew, also right at the top, I love that the author was sharing what sources she got what from, what was genuine, like non-biased fact versus opinion, experiential knowledge, and all of these different things. And she was very transparent about who would talk to her, who would not. I absolutely love that. And so she gathered together all the information that she could, all of the sources that she could. And what was very interesting and a little like, I'm looking at you sideways a little bit, justice system. Apparently the transcriptions for some of the court dates were not actually transcribed. Like there was writing of the meeting notes and everything, but the person who was supposed to transcribe it actually did not fully transcribe it because no one paid her to do so. Like, this author was the first to ask for those transcripts, so the price was quite exponentially higher than if someone else were to purchase said transcripts. But she also understood why people wouldn't want to, because the price was so high just in general the first time. Not that that should have really dissuaded anyone from getting them. Like, if you're trying to tell a story based on something that happened, especially something as awful as that case, then would you not pay anything to get the right information and the right accurate sources? And even from a money standpoint, okay, I am going to be the biggest of the devil's advocates here, because because if you're reporting on a story for money, bad decisions. That should not be the only motivator. If money comes out of you reporting something, that was out of your control. But to do it solely because this particular field of work and interest tends to bring in a lot of money for the people who report, bad. Very bad, don't like that. So just putting that at the top. But playing devil's advocate, even if you were solely looking at the financial reasonings behind this, would it not get more traction, get more revenue, get more eyes on it if you had every single little sordid detail of the story? Because if you had every single little sordid detail of the story, you could drag it out for the sake of viewership, for the sake of revenue. And this is me playing devil's advocate. I do not condone that. I despise when stories are used solely for the purposes of gaining money. That is not okay. Now, granted, there are jobs where you are paid to report on things, and that is your job. That is how you earn income. So it makes sense that you would earn income. It makes sense that you would put your all into it. But for something like this, and when things are reported like that, have humanity, I beg. I started reading it, and right off the top, she said all of that. I was very grateful to hear like all of her sources, what was opinion, what was fact, what was, from the horse's mouth, what was from outside resources. I greatly appreciated that. And then I got into the story and I was gone. Like, I got there with 45 minutes to spare, and within those 45 minutes, I was lost to the pages of this story, and I was hooked. I was intrigued. And I willingly or unwillingly started to deep dive emotionally into that story, so much so that the people who actually sat next to me for the all church prayer meeting had to say hi like 3 times to ask if they could sit next to me. And I was like, oh yeah, sure, sorry. That really invested in this book. So yeah, it's really good. I can't wait to read more of it. And then of course can't wait to read a little bit more of the Linen Seance Society, because now we're getting into the thick of things. I also am starting to see where the summary is coming to fruition, and it's making me look so sideways at one of the main characters who is supposed to be a help. And I'm thinking like, oh, be careful, ladies, be careful. Just watch your backs. Please don't die, literally. And yeah, so it's great. I love it. Also, it's set in London, and I went to London last summer, and I just had a great, amazing time. A little piece of my heart stayed in London, the least of which was in Hyde Park for the Stray Kids concert. But literally, just London itself, it's just such a beautiful city, and it just a lot of historical things are still there. Like in real life, you get to see a part of the past, and it's so amazing. I love it. So anyways, yes, that happened last night, and then I got to talking with a couple of friends. We were catching up with life, and we actually arranged to meet this Saturday, so I'm using some vacation hours to get out of work just a little bit early, not by much, but by like 3 hours, just to hang out with them and go into the beginning of the following week on a good note. So that was fun. That was excellent. And then I came back and I was so tempted. I was this close to going out to eat and going to the bank or something like that, like providing an excuse for me to go out to eat. And I was like, my house is just right there. Let me just go and make me a tuna sandwich. The most delicious tuna sandwich I think I've ever had in my life. I was also a little hungry, so that also probably helped. So yeah, now we're here to this morning. And then I, of course, watched some YouTube, played some games, went to bed at probably 1:30 a.m., woke up around 7:30-ish, tried to go back to sleep, did actually, in fact, go back to sleep, and woke up to my alarm at 8, did the dishes, and now we're here. I'm about to get me some coffee from one of the cups that I actually did the dishes for, and then I'm going to head out. I've already packed my lunch. Tuna, again, obviously. But it's such quick and easy. And then I had some extra potatoes that were cooked. I had potatoes and eggs and bacon one night, but it was more of a hash. So I have that, but then I saw just the potatoes and I was like, that's a good side, I'm gonna take it. So I'm going to have my potatoes, my tuna, packed some extra chips and goldfish for snacks and some grapes, packed a soda or two just so that I don't buy from the marketplace that's right there in our break room. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. We're gonna head to work, we're gonna do some work, and then I'm gonna catch you guys up on the day on my lunch break. See you guys in the car on my lunch break. Hi guys, interrupting the video at the very end to say I had quite the technical difficulties with this video. I have been editing all week. It is currently Friday of the future. Like I think I'm 2 weeks ahead of y'all, so like I'm filming in real time, but you guys are getting 2 weeks of my past every time I upload. So I am like 2, maybe 3 weeks into the future, and I am cutting in on this video to say I have had technical difficulties while getting all of the footage. For some reason it like saved in my phone, but it didn't save in my phone, if that makes sense. So I wasn't able to edit any of the footage from Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, and I had to screen record Wednesday and Thursday, and I was about to screen record Friday and I was like, what did I actually say? So I looked back at that footage and I realized I was just talking about the books. Basically, I had gotten further along into the London Seance Society and we're into the thick of the story now. And basically where I was at, I remember Lena was learning a lot about her dead sister, who was entangled with this
seance society, this London seance society. That's actually what it's called. And she was very involved with certain members, shall we say, and it looked to be like her sister was not the type of person that she thought. Like, she had this high impression of her sister, and sure, sisters do be sisters. They had an argument literally the morning of her death, and they never got that resolved or forgiven, and she's carrying all of that weight now. And she had heard by her sister about this person who does seance and was like, hey, maybe she could help me, because her specialty was bringing back people from the land of the dead to converse with her or to get their memories of their murder, and then she would give that information to the family, to the police, to whoever was needed. And we kind of learned where she got that skill, and I think that might be a spoiler for the book, or at the very least a minor detail that is kind of interesting, and I'll allow you guys to just read through that, but like basically it does have something to do with her past lover. So yeah, she's finding out all of these things about her sister, about her dead sister, and it's like, I want to be mad at her for this, and I would be mad at her if she were alive, but she is now dead, and I don't want to equate all of these things with this person and my view of how I thought of them, but then also I can't not, because now we're tangled up in a bigger thing that should involve authorities, like legal action. And so she's kind of like at war with herself and in her head, and she's learning some things about her sister, and she very much is just very conflicted at the moment. And I appreciate how this author never shies away from those hard topics in general, right? Like, I believe I said this before or earlier on in this vlog even, but this author does not shy away from the harder topics that are involved with certain plot points and elements of the plot as well, and I appreciate that, and especially with this, because I have been in a true crime headspace, not gonna lie, and like the moral aspect of true crime specifically, and especially when it comes to social media. Now, that's not the conversation that's talked about. Now, if you want that type of conversation, please go read the Truly Devious series, specifically The Box in the Woods. Definitely good conversation there. I was surprised. I mean, I wasn't surprised, but I was surprised, you know? Like, you're not surprised by what this author can bring out in a topic, but you are surprised at, like, how upfront and blatant it is, and it actually like weaves well into the story. It doesn't take you out of it to like preach at you and then go back into character. It's like character all of the way through, preaching about why this is so important to them, and then simultaneously getting you as the reader to be like, yep, I agree, or nope, I disagree. Although if you disagree with some of the things that were said in that book for the point of view of the character based on those things about true crime and the morals and ethics behind it, then I'm looking at you sideways, because there are some things that I just like, if you are a yes, like yes I agree, then you're on the right side. If you say no, I disagree, wrong answer, try again. Anyways, that's a whole other sidetrack, but basically I was kind of getting to, this author had a really good plot piece here, and I think she capitalized it really well in the fact that she made Lena think like, oh, this is what I thought about my sister, this is what she did, is it wrong for me to not like it because she has passed? Wait a minute, I don't like it, and it's okay to not be okay with it, but also I love her, so it's not going to stop me from getting justice for her. And then later on, will she find out if she's good or bad? We'll see. I know the answer, but you guys would not want me to tell you the answer if you guys don't like spoilers, so yeah. And then I was also mentioning Slender Man, and Slender Man is actually a book based on the real case of the Slender Man stabbing. If you guys don't know, I'll give you guys a brief summary. Basically, two young girls tried to murder their friend, who was also of the same age, 12, for the sake of a fictional character. And I was really invested in, because it was just at the start, I do remember this, I just started reading it, and I was going through the book, and I was having a heavy, hard time And I think I'll get into this later on next week, in my head, because the author was really describing the girls and the context. I also had mentioned in the footage that is now deleted because I'm reiterating it, so why keep it, that this author really wrote kind of like a true crime YouTuber speaks. You know, how they give a story, not just facts and information, and I've greatly appreciated that because it keeps my mind engaged and focused. Getting back to I did have a point with that. The story element, she was basically telling the story of the young girls and kind of like their history, but not just of the girls, of their families and kind of the situation that was going on. And at first, not gonna lie, I had this very intrusive thought of, oh no, because I was like, this is greatly reminiscent of a potential to, you know, the media having been completely against her, the court having been completely against her, to now the pendulum swing. I think I mentioned this sometime soon, but like there's this whole pendulum swing idea of like, if there's too much love or too much hate, then you immediately swing to too much hate or too much love to kind of make up for it. It's kind of like this very very intense back and forth, and you can oftentimes find that in fandom culture where, you know, there's this one person who is idolized and at first loved, adored, amazing, everyone's defending them. They do one thing wrong, or as I like to call it, they become human for a minute. Everyone realizes they're not a god or goddess, and then they all hate, and then it's almost too much, and then it becomes like okay, well, there needs to be a balance. What do they actually do? Now, granted, there are some things that people do where, like, I don't condone hate, I don't condone violence, but I do condone, don't like give them money because they cheated on someone or had infidelity or literally tried to do things to people physically that is not okay without consent. That I understand where that comes from and what fuels that and what will fuel that longer. That's kind of what I thought was happening here, like, because there was so much hate. Okay, now we found someone who's going to like over and abundantly love, and there is a danger of, how shall I put this? There is a danger of giving less weight and gravity of what actually happened. There is a risk of almost glorification, romanticization, fetishization of something that is wrong. Right? Like, it's wrong. Trying to stab someone with a knife, a kitchen knife. By the way, I saw the kitchen knife. That blade was tiny. I can only imagine, like, the actual physical act of having to stab someone with a blade that short in close range, close contact, and what that does to the victim and to the person who tried to attempt to take the life. That is something that you just can't come back from, and the weight of that too. Anyways, I'm sorry. Had to take a moment for that because I just remembered like seeing the blade, because I was looking up the parole hearings for both girls because I had mentioned the parole thing earlier on in the video, and I was gonna like insert the hearings, but each individual hearing was longer and there was more to it, and I was just watching through that and I saw the knife. And I don't know if it was the exact knife or if it was a replica or a depiction, but I mean, why would you put the weapon on screen if it wasn't at least similar in size and whatever? And it was just a lot. This book is a lot to read, okay? And being that these girls were 12 and they were clearly having a lot of mental health issues, they were having a lot of family issues, they were having a lot of social issues, it just shows like all of the elements that led up to this and you know, looking back is, hindsight is 2020, and you can't really go back and change things, but you can go back and you can look at things and see how you can be better at certain things, and it just really weighs heavily. And also going back to my thought of like the beginning of the book where they were talking about the families, they were talking about these girls, they were making them human, they were making them girls again, and the weight of understanding that they were girls for this author was something that just bled throughout the book. Spoiler alert, but it bled throughout the book. And in many ways, at first, I was like, oh no, what is this going to lead to? And then, as I was reading a little bit more further on, spoiler alert for the next couple of vlogs, or maybe not, actually, I don't know if I mentioned this part, but as you go further along and that point keeps getting brought up, you understand why. Because it's the truth. And they were judged on the basis of being adults and making adult decisions. And yes, I agree that consequences need to be had. I don't agree with how they went about. I think you need to address that too. Like, I don't think that it should just be you need to get punished for something that you did. You do. Now let's also teach you why this thing was wrong. And also let's get you help. Let's get you things that you need, because clearly there are some things that you could not control. Like the visions, the voices. Morgan could not control that. Now, could she have better controlled the decision of offering up her friend to a fictional character and taking her life and understanding that it was wrong? She knew it was wrong. Like, leading up to it, you could tell she knew it was wrong, but then she felt she had no choice. Why? Get to that. And that's what the doctors are saying. It's like, get to that. And also, now that she has a clearer mind, she feels the weight of what she did. I think a lot of things were done that were wrong. I think a lot of things need to be fixed in our systems and in helping. But that's where I got off on. So I understand where this author is coming from with remembering that they're girls, with reminding the readers that they were girls, with reminding everyone who she came into contact with that they were girls, because they were. And I think that creates all of the gravity that is necessary for this case, all of the gravity that is necessary for the further helping of these girls in their mental health journey. I think this gives the required weight that is due for the storytelling as well. I understand where she's coming from, what she's getting with that. I don't think that this author used it as a way to justify in any way, at least for me in my reading of it. So I am very pleased about that. So that was something that I had note of. I don't think there was anything else. I wasn't that far along in the book when I was talking with you guys, but yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Spoiler alert for future stuffs, I do eventually end up finishing both books, so yay. But yes, I need to head off now and get to work, and also intro another day for my vlog, so I will catch you guys up in the next video. Oh, by the way, if you guys like videos like this, please leave a like. If you guys would like to join our little community, it's been growing so much. Thank you guys for over 60 subscribers. Oh my gosh. It's so amazing. I know I did a little celebratory thing at 50. I was gonna do a little celebratory thing at 60, and then two of y'all just like, nope, we're joining in too. And I'm like, okay. Great. Love that. Amazing. Fantastic. So we're going to celebrate that with a little short as well sometime soon. I wasn't going to say today because I know myself. I'm not filming too much today, but I will definitely be doing a little, I want to get one of those little like party things and just keep it around for like every time we get to a little milestone, just be like, now we're here, like, or we're doing this or we're doing that. I will definitely be bringing it out for when I finally finish my desk and have my room set up. We're going to celebrate that as well. You know, we're going to celebrate the tiny wins in tiny little ways. It doesn't have to be extravagant. We're just going to celebrate it as a little community together because, you know, we all deserve to celebrate little wins and have little party things in our life.
Whoa. Surprise!
Alrighty. Also, if you guys want to be notified of any more videos, please feel free to ring that bell. That will come up right after you have subscribed, I believe, or it's already there. I'm not entirely sure. I don't look at my YouTube like that. Yeah, it pops up after you hit subscribe, but be sure to ring that notification bell if you want the notifications. I am going to try and do more sit-down type videos now that I am, like, settled, but that's also after I get my studio together. Yes, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will be seeing you guys in the next one. Bye!